So on YouTube, there are two kinds of Pokemon challenges in my opinion. The first kind is very common and quite easy to do. Complete the game with a certain Pokemon. These are fairly straightforward and are obviously very popular for a reason. The other kind, however, is not as common as it should be in my opinion. Beating a Pokemon game with a certain unique restriction, whether it be a no damage run, beating the game with access to one move, you name it. I find these challenges to be a lot more interesting as I feel like there's a degree of difficulty associated. Anybody can sweep through the Indigo Plateau with a level 100 Pokemon. In fact, I've done it with a level 44 Meowth. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's one of my favorite. But today, ladies and gentlemen, today I present you a hybrid of both these types of challenges. We will be attempting to defeat Pokemon Platinum with a single Spiritomb that only has access to status moves. Spiritomb's a great Pokemon. It's quite strong in all areas except for HP and speed, which is a little worrying. Where I think we'll be able to complete this challenge is through Spiritomb's unique typing and its moveset. As I am only restricted to using status moves, I can obviously not make use of some of its hard-hitting stab moves such as Shadow Ball or Dark Pulse. Instead, this is the list of moves that my Spiritomb can possibly learn. As of right now, however, I'm going to ban the use of any evasion changing moves, such as Double Team. Even though Spiritomb is an awful 35 base speed, I still think Double Team is far too overpowered. If I run a Spiritomb with Substitute, Rest, Double Team, and Curse, good luck trying to beat it. As of right now, the start of the video, I think the goal is to have a Spiritomb with Curse, Substitute, Rest, and Hypnosis. Maybe Toxic, I'm not quite sure yet. Also, I could see where Will-O-Wisp, Calm Mind, and Confuse Ray would be effective too. I think Swag is a bit too risky. So we go into our Pokemon Platinum and we get our Spiritomb as our starter. What I soon learnt after receiving my Spiritomb is that it has 5 possible moves that it can learn at level 1. Curse, Pursuit, Spite, Confuse Ray, and Shadow Sneak. The most valuable move of the 5 is Curse. Of course, Spiritomb can only know 4 moves. I am left with a Spiritomb that does not know Curse. The first battle against Barry's Piplup is completely dependent on how many times it decides to hit itself in the first 20 moves. In fact, all the early battles in this game are torture if they have 2 or more Pokemon. Barry's next encounter outside of Jubilife has 2 Pokemon, but we managed to get extremely lucky and defeat him. However, I can't continue like this. Even though Spiritomb learns Hypnosis level 13, it doesn't give me any ability to take down any of Rourke's Pokemon. So I do what any sane person would. I decide that it isn't fair that I don't have Curse, so I take my trusty heart scale that you can find in Orbur City and walk through walls all the way to Pastoria City in order to get Curse relearnt on my Spiritomb. So now that our little detour is over, it's finally time to battle against Rourke's 3 Rock-type Pokemon. Do you see why solely relying on them to hit themselves here would have been a bad idea? Even with Curse, this battle is an absolute mess. Spiritomb can't take out 3 Pokemon via Confusion and Curse, especially seeing as Curse can only be used at maximum of twice. If our HP is odd, we can use Curse twice and the game will leave us on 1 health. However, the problem with this is that we need to confuse Cranidos and it will definitely hit us before we're able to take it down. But that's when I got a great idea. Whilst training in the grass north of Orbur, I noticed the patch of Oranberries taunting me from across the way. If I was able to give Spiritomb an Oranberry, it would not only be able to use Curse twice in the battle against Rourke, but it would also be able to survive a couple of hits from Cranidos. Unfortunately, there are no berry patches in the areas you can access without defeating the first gym. How on earth was I supposed to get an Oranberry? There is, however, an in-game trade in Orbur City. She asks for a Machop in exchange for her Abra. Her Abra just happens to be holding an Oranberry. With the Oranberry, we begin the battle against Rourke. The ideal scenario consists of Hypnosis landing first time, both times, on Geodude and Onix, whilst they hit us as little as possible due to being asleep and confused. Cranidos is the subject of Confusion and Spite spam. Eventually we get lucky enough for it to finally hit itself enough times. We finally earn our first badge. And you already know we shine that thing. The double battle in Jubilife with Dawn is manageable as long as we don't get poisoned. In fact, poison seems to be a very consistent crutch in the run so far. This battle in the Floroma Meadow is more— I did this take like 18 times. Still can't say Floroma Meadow, it's the— is more difficult than I could have anticipated. Not only do you have to beat the Galactic Grunts consecutively, but the Stunky of the first grunt likes to use poison gas. Now, I do have access to another Oranberry because of the patch out front of the flower shop, however, I decide that I could probably make better use of it later. A lot has to go right here. Firstly, we have to defeat Stunky in the first battle via Confusion. We also have to make sure it isn't able to land a poison gas on us. In the second battle, we use Curse on both Pokemon. We're able to do this due to Spiritomb actually gaining a level after defeating Zubat. As long as Spiritomb doesn't get hit, we're able to progress. And progress we do. Next up is Mars inside of the Valley Windworks. She only has 2 Pokemon, however, Zubat knows Toxic, and you already know how much of a disaster her Perugly can be. The Oranberry from earlier definitely comes in handy for this battle. We enter the Eterna Forest with Cheryl? I have no idea. Who watches how Spiritomb faint, whilst her Chansey does absolutely nothing. In fact, this first double battle is an absolute nightmare. Chansey only has 1 attacking move, which is Egg Bomb. Cascoon spams Harden, and obviously we're up against 4 Pokemon, so Curse isn't the most helpful, even with an Oranberry. However, with that battle aside, we leave Cheryl and go and collect more Oranberries in preparation for our battle with Gardenia. Gardenia has 3 Pokemon, and one of them knows Safeguard and Leech Seed. But before we get to Gardenia, we're going to have to deal with the trainers inside her gym. Leech Seed is a nightmare. If we get hit by it, it's pretty much a guaranteed loss. I actually run out of moves besides Curse against the first trainer. Luckily for me, Spiritomb's horrific base speed ensures that Curse isn't used before Rosalia knocks itself out of the battle. The second trainer teaches me something I didn't actually know in the Generation 4 games. This trainer has 3 Voodoos and will switch them out at will if one of them falls asleep. Only problem is that when they come back in, they're no longer asleep. I'm not sure how present this is in the Pokemon games, but this glaring oversight makes this battle so much more difficult. After about 50 attempts, I finally managed to defeat this trainer and set up a battle with Gardenia. Gardenia is very difficult. My initial attempts with the single Oranberry are awful. I don't even manage to bring Roserade out. It was here where I realized that I would have to initiate Plan B. The Oranberries are fantastic, however Spiritomb requires a consistent source of healing in order to actually stand a chance in this battle. Especially seeing as its only way of dealing damage is via Curse and Confuse Ray. Plan B was simple although tedious. I catch a Pachirisu and hope that it has the pickup ability. If you remember from my challenge in Pokemon Emerald where I beat the entire game by only making the opponents hit themselves, at level 81 a Pokemon has a 1 in 100 chance of picking up a leftovers after a battle. Couple that in with a 10% chance of an item actually being picked up after a battle, and it comes out to a 1 in 1000 chance. With all my other options exhausted, I head to the grass and level up this Pachirisu. Many hours later, it's finally ready. I continue battling the wild Pokemon until it picks up the leftovers. Full restores, Ultra Balls, Shiny Stones, and even rare candies came and went. But we finally got what we wanted. All to have a chance at defeating the second gym leader. With Pachirisu deposited, we head back to the gym and prepare for an all-out war against Gardenia. With Roserade on the smallest amount of health possible, it lands a Grass Knot. Spiritomb survives on 1 health and wins the battle. One small step for man, one giant leap for a Pokemon that can only be encountered after talking to 32 or more players in the game's underground exploration feature. We continue our winning streak by defeating Jupiter at the Team Galactic headquarters in Eterna and then obtaining our 3rd badge against Fantina, which might have been one of the easiest battles so far. Leech Seed continues to torment us, but a couple of resets sees us defeat Barry outside of Hearthome City. On the way to Veilstone, there are 2 trainers who pose a certain threat. They're meant to be battled together, but however, as we only have 1 Pokemon in our party, we take them on separately. These 2 ace trainers right before Veilstone City are very annoying, mainly due to one of their Rosalias knowing Leech Seed. It's funny how the move that was probably considered the most beneficial to a status move's only run is giving me such a hard time. Maylene is up next, and we handle her Pokemon quite well. If I had to do these battles with Oranberries, I probably would have given up on this challenge by now. Lucas and I take out these Galactic Grunts in a fiery double battle where Lucas does all of the work. Barry meets us out front of Pastoria Gym and hits us with a burn. Leech Seed, Poison, and Burn are the 3 main enemies of this run. In a world where Ponyta doesn't land a 10% burn with Ember, we win this battle. But we're gonna need some more firepower if we want to get that 5th gym badge. The TM for Toxic should help with that. The battle with Wake is frustrating to say the least, mainly due to the constant critical hits, the move Brine, and Hypnosis being the worst move in the game. But as always, persistence is key in these challenges, and we eventually roll the RNG dice enough that it gives us the win. Cyrus is the next main battle of the run, and his team is fairly difficult. His Sneasel using Screech complicates things a lot. Even though Sneasel can be poisoned, it's more beneficial to put it to sleep and then curse it. This battle makes me realize that Hypnosis and Toxic aren't very effective in tandem, but I had bigger things to worry about right now. Cyrus's Murkrow knows Nightshade. Nightshade is a fixed damage move that scales based on the level of the user. To win this battle, I would need to survive his first 2 Pokemon, ideally with over 35 health, which is a bit difficult if you get hit with Screech twice. Another well grinded out victory for Spiritomb. Our next battle with Barry is on the beautiful Canalave Bridge. My doubts of Toxic and Hypnosis peak here, mainly due to the sleep oversight and also because Roserade knows Leech Seed, of course. It was time for a new strategy, a strategy that would actually work in tandem with Toxic, Curse, and Confuse Ray. That strategy's name was TM70. Now, you're probably wondering, why did you ban the use of Double Team if you were just going to use Flash? Isn't that the same thing? Technically, you're right, but you're also very wrong. Flash and Double Team work in similar ways. Flash decreases the accuracy of our opponent, Double Team increases the evasion of our Pokemon. But Flash isn't as abusive as Double Team, not in the slightest. I'll explain. I battled against 6 Pokemon. If I spend my first 6 turns setting up Double Team, I have maximum evasion for the entire battle. This is obviously unfair. However, to have the same effect, I would have to use Flash 6 times on every single Pokemon for a total of 36 uses, which is impossible without an Ether, as Flash's maximum PP is 32. With Flash, we're able to defeat Barry on the bridge and head to the gym to face off against Byron. Now, Byron is a lot more difficult than I anticipated, and that's mainly due to Sandstorm. Sandstorm hits for 1/16 of Spiritomb's max health, which is healed back via leftovers. That means that Spiritomb is unable to heal back anything that Byron's Steelix actually hits it for. Also, it's worth noting that none of Byron's Pokemon can be poisoned due to their steel typing, so Curse is our only offensive option, which makes Spiritomb being able to heal itself very important. We head all the way to the Great Lakes to defeat Team Galactic's administrator. Saturn and Mars are dealt with relatively quickly, but the path to Jupiter is long and snowy. It also includes an obligatory battle with Candace in order to climb the huge hill that the lake sits on. Our woes with Byron and Sandstorm were better times. Candace's Abomasnow creates permanent hail. This battle was not kind to us at all. After a lot of attempts and some serious luck against her Frozlast and Piloswine, we eventually get our 7th badge. Jupiter is really mean to Barry, and we take our revenge by beating Cyrus again. This battle is seriously so much easier with Flash instead of Hypnosis, it's insane. Saturn is also disposed of quite comfortably, whilst Sharon? I have no idea. Devises his post-game plan on Stark Mountain. Little does he know that I can legally stop playing this game after defeating Cynthia. We climb all the way up to the Spear Pillar, only to be discriminated against for our views of raising only 1 Pokemon. Seriously, you cannot start this battle with 1 Pokemon. You actually have to have 2. I can't believe it. In order to combat this very obvious crutch, I send in our trusty HM Slayer for Bibarrel, who attacks Spiritomb with a normal attack until it faints in the first turn. Spiritomb pulls off an insane 2v1 clutch against the Galactic Grunts, and whilst Barry relieves Bibarrel of duty in the next battle against Mars and Jupiter. After defeating them, Cyrus does the whole, creating a new world, Giratina interferes, we chase him to the Distortion world, and then we battle him. Houndoom, of course, knows Will-O-Wisp, which is a big no-no in us being able to win this battle. The rest of his team is relatively tame. In fact, I'm so glad his Crobat comes out last. Crobat can't be poisoned, obviously, so I use Curse on it. I also just happen to run out of all my moves that aren't called Curse against Crobat. Thankfully, Curse fails if it's already been used on that Pokemon, so I'm able to waste turns and win the battle. This newly found information could probably come in handy later, but we live in the present, and the present involves us using Toxic to defeat Volkner and heading to the Pokemon League. But not before we're beating Barry again. You know the drill with Barry. Rapidash knows Will-O-Wisp and Roserade knows Leech Seed. Avoid them both and you win. It is finally time to put our purple cursed ball against the best that the Sinnoh League has to offer. Aaron is first up. The only issues with Aaron have to be that his Scizor and Drapion can't be poisoned, but as long as we get lucky with Confuse Ray and Scizzor's reduced accuracy, we quite comfortably progress into the next battle. Bertha. A battle that was notoriously difficult in my tackle-only challenge of this game. Bertha is difficult again, and you can probably guess why. Her Hippowdon Sandstream creates an infinite sandstorm. This battle, right here, is by far the most frustrating of the entire Elite Four. Rhyperior, Golem, and Hippowdon all hit hard with stab and weather-boosted attacks. The fact that Spiritomb got out of this one in one piece is an absolute miracle. Now, Flint might not be difficult, but he definitely is annoying. His Flareon loves using Will-O-Wisp. I think it's really cool how all the Elite Four so far have represented a different struggle that I've already experienced in this run. Aaron with Pokemon that can't be poisoned, Bertha with permanent weather, and Flint with status condition. Lucian, however, is the same problem just wrapped in different paper. His Alakazam and Espeon both have Synchronize as their abilities, so poisoning them is a huge mistake. I could either curse them, or I could allow Mr. Mime to paralyze me with Thunderbolt in order to poison them, as Synchronize will not work if I'm already paralyzed. Aside from the battle where I accidentally used Curse instead of Toxic, Lucian is defeated and only one trainer remains. I can already hear the piano from the hallway. In preparation for Cynthia, I make sure Spiritomb is level 100. Anything less and this battle isn't even close. In fact, this battle isn't even close anyways. My closest attempts at this point have me losing with Roserade and Togekiss still at her disposal. I needed to think differently. Initially, I noticed that all of Cynthia's Pokemon besides Garchomp use special moves. Amnesia would be better than Flash in this instance. But of course, Spiritomb can't actually learn Amnesia. The only move that would be similar is Calm Mind, which is only purchasable at the Battle Frontier, which is only available after defeating Cynthia. There seems to be only one option, and it destroys everything that I stand for. But I purchase the TM for Double Team. It is still technically a status move, even if I did ban it for being too overpowered. And overpowered it was. Double Team comfortably enables Spiritomb to destroy Cynthia's team. It isn't even a challenge. Cynthia's words after the battle are hollow and meaningless. I refuse to accept Spiritomb completing this challenge with the use of Double Team. I knew what I had to do. I loaded up my save file before I taught Spiritomb Double Team and re-entered the battle with Cynthia. With Flash equipped, there were a couple intricacies to this battle, one of which I had not experienced yet. Her first Pokemon is Spiritomb. How convenient. Spiritomb's ability is Pressure. As we're unable to use items in battle, such as a Max Elixir to replenish our moves, this Spiritomb needs to be taken out in the most efficient way possible. 3 Flashes, a Curse, and a Toxic enable this. As long as Spiritomb didn't lower our special defense via Shadow Ball, everything was great. Life is good. Lucario came out next. Now, Lucario can't be poisoned, so Curse is the strategy here. After Spiritomb has healed enough from spamming Flash and Confuse Ray, we use Curse. Lucario can also lower our special defense via Shadow Ball, so we need to be extra wary of that too. Eventually, Lucario runs out of Shadow Balls and starts using Aura Sphere. This enables Spiritomb to waste curses and regain health in preparation for Garchomp. Garchomp needs to miss. A lot. Flash and Confuse Ray spammed until Toxic finishes it off. Milotic comes out next. Now, I'm not gonna lie at all. In this battle, we get extremely lucky with Milotic. It only managed to land 3 Surfs on Spiritomb, which is absolutely insane. It was finally time to face against Cynthia's final 2 Pokemon, who I am very unfamiliar with in this battle. Togekiss and our sworn enemy Roserade. Confuse Rays are a scarce commodity that need to be used on Roserade, so I decide to use Toxic immediately against Togekiss. The damage from Air Slash isn't anything too alarming. With Flash used a couple times, I decided to use all my Toxics on Togekiss's final turns. We wouldn't need them for Roserade anyways. Roserade manages to attack us twice whilst being confused, landing a Toxic. Immediately, I thought it was over. We had gotten so far, only to stumble at the final hurdle. Despite this, I decided to use Curse. As long as Roserade hit itself, Spiritomb would outlast Roserade. Roserade snaps out of confusion after hitting itself once. Luckily, it misses Energy Ball. My final Hail Mary came in the form of using Confuse Ray again. Roserade hits itself. The damage from Spiritomb's poison comes before Roserade's curse. Spiritomb survives on 1 health. Roserade falls. The greatest victory the Sinnoh region has ever seen. A status only move leftovers Spiritomb without Double Team or any items in battle, defeating Cynthia's entire team whilst being poisoned with 1 health. I've never felt so accomplished. I know I've beaten entire games with only using Constrict, but this right here, this challenge right here was by far the most difficult challenge I have ever attempted and completed. If you guys think so too, feel free to drop a like. If you disagree, comment something more difficult that you think is realistically achievable. I want to do them. There are some other videos on the screen where I do tedious challenges in games made for children for your entertainment. Feel free to check them out. However, I'm gone for now. Until next time, see you later. Peace. Have a great day. Bye.